Welcome to Discussions with Dianna, brought to you by the Publishing Club of Laguna Woods. Today, I am pleased to introduce Laura Covarrubias, Senior Supervisor for the Equestrian Center here in Laguna Woods. Laura's job is complex and challenging in ways that other jobs here in the woods are not. She not only oversees services for residents who use the stables, but also monitors the health and well-being of the GRF horses and the border horses, 42 in total. And soon we're going to have police horses there as well. Additionally, she oversees many volunteers. All of this, as you can imagine, is no small task. Her number one concern is safety for the horses and the people. But that concern is one of many. She is challenged, as many of us are these days, by ever-rising prices for feed and veterinary services of the horses, as well as unexpected surprises, such as a mare carrying a foal, a horse suffering from deadly colic, and assisting horses who are wildfire evacuees. She brings to the job an expertise in equine full-service care, facility management, strategic planning, event organization, team leadership, managing budgets, improving operational efficiency, and barn and area maintenance. In addition, she brings a big heart available to her horses and to the people who love them. Full disclosure, I took lessons at the Equestrian Center before Laura was hired and after. The results of Laura's persistence, hard work, and expertise are astounding. I am so very happy to welcome Laura to the show. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you. I am so happy to be here with you, Dianna. And yes, I fondly remember all of the time you spent with us doing lessons.
Yes.
It was wonderful.
Yes, it sure was. And I was keenly aware that you were very careful to make sure I didn't fall off the horse all that stuff.
Absolutely. In a senior community, we have so many active seniors, but when you're working with 1,200-pound animals and new riders sometimes, we do have a lot of experienced riders as well coming to us. But when you're talking about people just learning to balance on a horse and communicate with a horse, safety becomes really, really key. So thankfully, I've had a therapeutic riding background as well as a competitive riding background. We're able to kind of merge those for the community, and it's been a really special experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how did your interest in horses begin?
Well, it was interesting. When I was about 18 months old, my father took me to visit a friend's home who had a small ranch outside of the Bay Area in Northern California. And they put me up in the saddle, and I instantly fell in love with horses, and I wouldn't stop talking about them. So my father, who used to jog, was jogging past a little riding school, and he thought, there's little kids on ponies here taking lessons. Laura would love this. She never stops talking about horses. So at 3 years old, I began my riding career.
Neat.
Riding in little kid lessons on Shetland ponies.
Oh.
And it never stopped. I did competitive riding. I worked at stables as a child for riding time and eventually got my own horse, and the rest is history.
Yeah. And it's not unusual to trade services for riding time, especially when you're beginning.
Yes, exactly. Volunteering at barns to do work around the stables and eventually work with horses, because labor is so expensive at horse stables.
Yes.
Is a great way to trade, especially young people who are working students. They will go into a barn and be taken on by the manager or trainers and get a lot of wonderful experience and riding time. Yeah.
Yes. Well, horses are such special animals, and I know that you know them intimately. Perhaps you can speak about, for example, well, I'll start out with, they are large animals. And you have to keep that in mind, because if a horse falls on you, it's a serious situation. And they are also prey animals.
Yes.
So what can you tell us about horses?
Yes, horses are really interesting. Where dogs read human emotion and body language, horses, I would say, might even be more attuned in the way that, because they are prey animals, they have to be able to instantly read energy, focus, body language. So, and being as big as they are, we as horse professionals work very hard to train horses to read the cues of our body correctly and learn to trust us, because as prey animals, if they feel in danger, they need to look to us for what to do so that they don't feel they just need to take over the situation. So it's a beautiful thing as a large animal to be able to trust their human beings. They count on us to provide everything they need in their daily lives, including socialization, their feed, as much as we can keep it round the clock for their health and their intestinal systems. We have to provide that for them. Housing that feels safe, the environment overall, the noise, the activity, all of it. So they're truly unique animals, but because of that sensitivity, this large animal is able to also read our emotions. So if you come to them with an emotion of authority, they can read that. This person is calm and has authority here. I should trust them. They like to look for leaders. So they look for human beings. As you know, as a student, we tell people to be confident and calm, so the horses read that in you, because if you're nervous, it will help to make them feel nervous. So, and part of safety is having a calm, relaxed horse. So yeah, it's very involved.
Yes.
The human-horse relationship, and they are really unique.
And I mean, you can't, like, it's not like you walk up to them like this and, it's like, okay, I'm here to, it's like the horse would go like, no, I'm going the other way.
Exactly. And there's so much about reading horses' body language. And I check myself often, and I know the instructors there do as well, that work for me. We have a great team that all bring a lot of experience, because it takes much longer than actually getting a college degree to learn to read horses thoroughly. And we ask that people look for their body language cues.
And so what might some of those body language cues be?
Sure. So a horse that is unsettled or upset or irritated, they might put their ears back. You might see them with very alert eyes, and they bring their head up in attention and look a direction. That's a tense horse. A horse that looks down and kind of makes a face and puts their ears slightly back, that's an angry horse. They're upset with the situation. You might want to take a step back from that horse in that situation, right?
Yes.
But a horse with soft eyes, a relaxed posture, and if you watch their breathing, they have big nostrils, so you can watch their breathing. If they have slow, deliberate breaths, and they just have a really relaxed rhythm of their breathing, that is a safe horse, right?
Yes.
That's the horse we want to approach and handle. And we can do a lot to affect that with the horses, even your own breathing. If you calm your breathing,
Yes.
it helps horses to calm themselves. Yeah.
Yes. And there are certain things to do to establish a relationship with a horse, like grooming is one of those.
Grooming is a wonderful way, and I know in our horsemanship classes, we offer a lot of time for people, even if they're not riding, to spend time grooming the horses. It's a great way to be in their circle, near their body, interacting with them in a soothing way that's soothing to the person and to the horse. And people learn how to brush them in a way that is calming to them and non-threatening. And I mean, we're lucky. We only select horses that are very safe and very forgiving with people.
Yes.
Our equestrian center is filled with very kind, loving horses, but it's important to learn how to interact with them, where to touch on their body, where to touch first. You might want to touch their neck first. That's not a threatening place. Or neck and shoulder, then move to their back, then move to their hind end. And it's important to note things like horses can't see directly behind them.
Yes,
right?
yes. So they have eyes,
Yeah.
like on the sides of their heads, which gives them a blind spot
Right.
in the back.
That's right. That's right. They can see all the way down the sides of their body, but if you surprise them from behind, that could be dangerous.
Yes.
So we teach all the people at the equestrian center to approach them where they can see at the front in a non-threatening place, and then deliberately show them as they go around the back, touching their body, I'm here, you're safe, so that if you have to handle them from behind, they're not feeling scared.
Yes, or startled.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah. It's just a wonderful thing. Now, do people still break horses?
Well, there are people in the world that still are rough and consider horses, they consider it breaking horses. You can find them on the internet. But largely the horse community in many regards has moved away from that. There's so much more about gentle communication with horses, and then providing types of training that are gentle pressure and release, because the release is the reward, and the touch pressure is what makes a horse understand, I move away from that, or I move this direction. And there's treat training, and there's clicker training, and there's all sorts of types of training for horses. Whereas in the old days, at least in the US, not so much in Europe, but there was much more that cowboy toughness associated with the West. And there was a lot of that in Southern California. That's part of our history, and we have to understand and embrace that. But we've continued to learn and go forward, and we have now better ways, I think,
I think
to train
so too.
horses.
I think so too. And as you were talking about the press and release, I recall that in steering the horse when you're riding, that's part of it.
It is. And the type of riding that I do, and that the majority of the instructors down there do, although we've experienced all types of riding through our years, but many of us have come to the English and dressage world. And a lot of that, you apply pressure with your leg to ask them to go a direction, or go another direction, or halt, or to rein back. And there's minimal pressure on their mouth. Their mouths are very sensitive. So it's first leg driven, and then take up what the horse gives you with your hand and support that. So a very different thinking.
Yes, and also a very fine level of discrimination in the rider.
Absolutely, very subtle. If you go, and the Olympics are coming up, so if you take the opportunity to watch the dressage riders and the jumpers as well, and the Olympics, you'll see it's so subtle the way we communicate. And at the upper levels, we barely touch the horses, because that's how complete our level of partnership and communication are at that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would encourage our audience to, if you get a chance, Google the top dressage performances, because you will see horses that are doing incredible things,
goodness.
and it looks like the rider is doing nothing.
Right, and it's tough when people are learning because it takes so much coordination and body control and independent movement. I think that's one of the hardest things. You have to independently move your left leg from, your right hand, and that's not always easy while you're balancing up there. But yes, they get to the point as you go up the levels of riding where it's so subtle that you can barely see it, and then the horses are dancing, really.
Yes, they dance.
They're dancing.
Yes.
And those horses have the joy of dance.
They look joyful.
They are joyful.
Yes. Yeah, and that speaks again to the partnership.
It really is.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the important part, I think. That horses are not tools. They are sentient beings. They have emotions, and they may be a little more simple in what they want to experience. They have simple goals. I want the food, I want to be over there with my friends, and so forth. But they feel everything that happens when we interact with them, and it's really important to keep that in mind when you communicate with them, because everything we do on a horse is communication. That's all we're doing. It's like they're trying to understand our language, and our language to them is through touch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're very kind to let us on their backs. And
Yeah, they sure are.
Yeah.
They sure are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you remind me of an instance, well, I don't know if you said this or somebody else, because sometimes a horse does not want to work.
It's true. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
They
they're
can be
pretty-
petulant.
Yes.
Really. Yeah.
And we're not talking about pulling a wagon or anything.
No.
We're just talking about letting somebody on their back and doing certain things.
Right.
They're
right.
like, no, sorry, I want to be back in the
Yes.
stall.
Yes, I would say that they have varying work ethics.
Yes.
And some are more motivated by food than work, and vice versa.
Yes.
So no, that's a true experience. Yeah.
Yes. So how do you find and select the school horses, the ones that are the ones that are the lesson horses?
Well, I think, that is really important, especially here, because, as we age, we are more fragile. Kids might fall off frequently and bounce and have no problem hopping right back on. That we do not want that experience at Laguna Woods Village Equestrian Center. We have a super safety record, and the way we go about it, we usually try to buy through trusted sources. We rarely buy off the market. This is how we're able to get very good deals, by having a good reputation for taking excellent care of our horses. And so we try to take horses who have experienced a lot, and that have a lot of really true training. So rather than maybe the old style people had used of, getting a backyard horse and turning it into a lesson horse, those horses might be lacking training that will help people to learn. So we try to pick horses that are unimpressed by things in terms of being afraid. So if a horse has been to shows all over and had different types of riders on them already, that takes that whole element and makes it safer for our riders. And then when we try out the horse, we do tend to bring like a mock rider who's a very experienced rider, and we do sort of a mock lesson situation where they might try things that our newer riders might run into in a lesson, and they might, fall forward and unbalance themselves, or they might kind of mistakenly pull a little bit, or they might put their foot in the wrong place on the horse, and we test their temperament that way. And then we often try to have a trial where we bring them home and we see how they are in this environment, because some horses will react to geography. So you might bring them home and they might be great in a flat landscape with not much on the horizon to look at. And they might come and think like, oh gosh, I have to go down hills into a space away from other horses. That makes me nervous. That would not be appropriate. So what we look for is a horse that feels totally comfortable when they arrive, and then we do mock lessons at home and see how that goes. So once we've established, this horse is healthy, and we do a vet exam to ensure that they have a good baseline of health and soundness, and then their temperament is forgiving and excellent and safe. We've tried them out in different scenarios. It's only then that we take our more experienced lesson people, see how that goes, and then we move them into the general lesson structure. So it's a process, but we've had really good luck, and we have some of the most lovely horses I could imagine. I feel really blessed.
Yes, well, and part of it is your work and knowledge, and willing to do the work that's necessary to find those horses.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely important. It's important in the long term to put in that time.
Yes, yes. And even though a horse can be vetted to be very safe, any horse can spook still. I mean, and we were laughing kind of about the 4th of July, construction and squirrels.
Oh, yes, yes.
I mean, it's such a challenging environment, because I remember being on a horse and a squirrel ran up a tree, and my horse was like, I mean, didn't do anything bad, but was still a little bit like, what's that? Is that dangerous? Am I safe?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, they're prey animals, right? And they are beings. We are sitting upon another being, and they have their own thoughts about what is scary. And we do live in the city. It's not like we are in, the country farm road, a barn. So we meet those challenges with being prepared, exposing them to those things before they enter lessons. And then there's a lot of things that exist now that are different than before. They have earplugs for horses.
I was going to ask you what you did for the 4th of July specifically.
Yes. Well, for 4th of July, actually, we have something really special, which is that the horses now, where they used to have an environment, it's kind of an interesting thing, where the energy of the environment and the horses that were on the property were tending to be more nervous when I first arrived. We've now created a situation in an environment where horses tend to be, there's an outlier here or there, but tend to be very relaxed because the herd is relaxed.
Oh.
So they take cues from the rest of the herd. So I would say the last 2 4th of Julys, we've had some nervous horses. A couple of them have had to have herbal supplements for sedation, sort of to relax them, like people do with their dogs. But the majority of the horses handled it with grace, and we give them extra food on that day to keep them busy eating, because most of them are really food motivated. So what we'll do is we'll serve them a little half portion right before the fireworks, and that keeps everybody sort of calm. And yes, but that's probably our biggest challenge is fireworks. And then, but squirrels, they are intimidating.
Yes, imagine that. Right, they're fast and they're unexpected.
They are.
Yeah. Well, before we run out of time, I did want to mention a little bit about the history of the stables.
Sure.
Because the grand opening was in 1965, 5 days after Clubhouse 2 opened.
Wow.
It was originally called El Rancho Cortese Stables, and it was the first amenity built here.
Yes.
And it's a very special and important place here in the woods because it's so tranquil and special. And people are invited to come. You make an appointment for a tour.
Oh, you don't even have to make an appointment for the tour.
Wow.
You just show up for the tour, and yeah, it's really fun. You get to hear the whole history of the equestrian center, walk around and see the place, and then you get to pet a horse and take a picture with a horse if you want, and all of that. So it's fun for all. Yeah. Well, it's an important time for selfies.
Yeah. And the Saddle Club was born like less than a year afterward, and the Saddle Club is a very important part
They are.
of the equestrian center. By factoid is that by 1988, the Saddle Club's membership was 650.
Isn't that incredible?
Yes, yes.
Isn't that incredible?
Yep.
And we've seen the numbers rising again over the past several years. And honestly, I encourage anyone in the village who's interested in horses to come and join the Saddle Club, because they have terrific events. They're all horse enthusiasts. Some of them are boarders who have horses. Some of them have taken lessons, like Dianna. Some of them are volunteers, and some just really like horses and to spend time at the stables. And they have, I know you're going to talk about the events, but I just want to say they're a really special group of people, and they do so much to benefit the stables. They care about the horses. They often donate. Every year they donate either an item that we need or towards a project or towards care of horses. And they have been a huge part of being able to achieve our goals at the Equestrian Center and to promote and protect the Equestrian Center.
Yes, yes.
So,
and it's one more example of how volunteerism in the woods makes a huge difference.
It really does.
Yes.
It really does. We're very thankful. My staff and I could not have seen the success we have had without the Saddle Club. They've really been terrific. And some of the other clubs. Yeah.
Yes, yes. That volunteer their time as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So quickly, there are annual events like barbecues and Easter egg hunt, which is, this show will air all of April. So only people who see the first show will benefit from the warning that the following Saturday
Yes,
is the
that's
Easter
right.
egg
That's
hunt.
right.
Yes.
Yes, it's a fun event. I mean, we're usually at about 450 to 500 people. We have Easter egg hunts all morning for the kids. We have, face painting and balloon animals. The Clown Club is coming out to do activities there for us this year. So it will be a lot of community participating. Bounce houses, and the bunny will be there taking pictures and visiting the kids. That bunny. And we have what is usually a favorite. We have a big parade of horses at the end, and we talk about all the school horses and who they are, and they're all dressed up, and some of the lesson students and the instructors walk them through, and I talk about all of them on a mic.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah, so fun.
Well, and it's wonderful having you on the show.
Thank you, Dianna. It's really special. Thank you for having me.
Well, again, I'm very happy to see you again and support the Equestrian Center and all the good things that you do.
Thank you.
And the Saddle Club and everything.
Yeah.
Well, now we are just about out of time. So this concludes another episode of Discussions with Dianna, brought to you by the Publishing Club of Laguna Woods. And thank you, Publishing Club. I appreciate the opportunity. Special thanks to all those of you who are members of the Saddle Club, an essential part of the Equestrian Center, and of course the staff at the Equestrian Center and the staff here at TV6. May you follow your dreams with passion, persistence, and faith. See you again soon.